जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनन्दन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय जय यशोदनन्दन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय जय यमुनतीरवनचारी जय कुञ्जविहारी जय जय यमुनतीरावनचारी जय कुञ्जविहारी जय जय राधमाधव जय कुञ्जविहारी जय जय गोपीजनवल्लभा जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय जय गिरिवरधारी जय गिरिवरधारी जय यशोदनन्दन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय व्रजजनरञ्जन जय जय यमुनतीरावनचारी जय कुञ्जविहारी जय जय राधमाधव जय कुञ्जविहारी जय जय राधमाधव जय कुञ्जविहारी जय श्री राधा माधव की जय। ग्रंथराज श्री श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। शील प्रभुपाद की जय। शील गुरुदेव की जय। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि 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 बोल। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो। Sorry, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. So we are very fortunate to have along with us His Grace Kalacakra Krishna Prabhu. I'll give a introduction about Prabhuji. His Grace Kalacakra Krishna Prabhu is a disciple of His Holiness Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. He is an IT professional and he has been practicing Krishna consciousness from the last 26 years, and he was initiated by Maharaj in the year 2001 in Minneapolis and was personally trained by Maharaj to scrutinizingly study Srila Prabhupada's books, especially Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Maharaj is well known in ISKCON as a famous preacher of Srimad Bhagavatam, especially how to take out practical instructions from Srila Prabhupada's books and apply them in our day-to-day lives. The last 26 years, Kalacakra Prabhu is striving to follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada and his spiritual master, traveling around the world and inspiring everyone to seriously study Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. He has been conducting several online and in-person study groups and Srimad Bhagavatam camps over the last 2 decades with the aim of inspiring devotees to seriously study Srila Prabhupada books and release them. Prabhuji has also been running an online forum called Granthraj for the last 19 years, inspired and guided by his spiritual master. There are several thousand members subscribed to this forum where devotees share their personal realizations and practical applications from Srila Prabhupada's Vani. These articles are used as an effective preaching tool by hundreds of devotees around the world. Kalacakra Krishna Prabhu has also printed 4 books so far on the titles Granthraj, the King of Scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam in Practice, Volume 1 and 2, and Pearls of Wisdom, based on the teachings and realizations of Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj. So we are very fortunate to have Prabhuji's association. So we'll welcome Prabhuji by once loudly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. So, Prabhu's Mataji's Dandavat Pranam. So we are reading from Canto 4, Chapter 11, verse 29. Very powerful chapter and very powerful shloka. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam namaskritya Naram chaiva narottamam Devim saraswatim vyasam Tato jayamudirayet Nashtaprayesha bhadreshu Nityam bhagavat sevaya Bhagavati uttama shloke Bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So we'll recite the verse now. Tamena mangatmani mukta vigrahe Vyapashritam nirgunamekam aksharam Atmanamanvicha vimuktam atmadruk Yasmin idam bhedam asat pratiyate Tamena mangatmani mukta vigrahe Vyapashritam nirgunamekam aksharam Atmanamanvicha vimuktam atmadruk Yasmin yidam bhedam asat pratiyate. Tamena mangatmani mukta vigrahe vyapashritam nirgunamekam aksharam atmanamanvecha vimuktam atmadruk yasmin yidam bhedam asat pratiyate. Tamekamangatmani mukta vigrahe vyapashritam nirgunamekam aksharam atmanamanvecha vimuktam atmadruk yasmin yidam bhedam asat pratiyate. Tamena mangatmani mukta vigrahe vyapashritam nirgunamekam aksharam atmanamanvecha vimuktam atmadruk yasmin yidam bhedam asat pratiyate. Matajis, anyone? Tamena mangatmani mukta vigrahe vyapashritam nirgunamekam aksharam atmanamanvecha vimuktam atmadruk yasmin yidam bhedam asat pratiyate. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Tam, him, enam, that, anga, my dear Dhruva, Atmani, in the mind, Mukta Vigrahe, free from anger, Yapashritam, situated, Nirgunam, transcendental, Ekam, one, Aksharam, the infallible Brahman, Atmanam, the self, Anvicha, try to find out, Vimuktam, uncontaminated, Atmadruk, facing towards the super soul, Yasmin, in which, Idam, this, Bhedam, differentiation, Asat, unreal, Pratiyate, appears to be. Translation and purport by Jivan K. Sabai Sharanaranta Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Please repeat. My dear Dhruva, please therefore turn your attention to the Supreme Person who is the infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position, and thus, by self-realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering. purport, please hear. The living entities have three kinds of vision according to their positions in self-realization. According to the bodily concept of life, one sees differentiation in terms of varieties of bodies. The living entity actually passes through many varieties of material forms, but despite all such changes of body, he is eternal. When living entities, therefore, are viewed in the bodily concept of life, one appears to be different from another. When living entities, therefore, are viewed in the bodily concept of life, one appears to be different from another. Lord Manu wanted to change the vision of Dhruva Maharaj, who was looking upon the Yakshas as different from him or as his enemies. Factually, no one is an enemy or a friend. Everyone is passing through different types of bodies under the law of karma. But as soon as one is situated in his spiritual identity, he does not see differentiation in terms of this law. In other words, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 18:54, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma na shochati na kankshati samah sarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. A devotee who is already liberated does not see differentiation in terms of the outward body. He sees all living entities as spirit souls, eternal servants of the Lord. Dhruva Maharaj was advised by Lord Manu to see with that vision. He was specifically advised to do so because he was a great devotee and should not have looked upon other living entities with ordinary vision. Indirectly, Manu pointed out to Dhruva Maharaj that out of material affection, Dhruva thought of his brother as his kin and the Yakshas as his enemies. Such observation of differentiation subsides as soon as one is situated in his original position as an eternal servant of the Lord. Jai Srila Prabhupada Transcendental Purports Ki Jai. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahaganaragunatanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitanscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanasute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Mukham karoti vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkrupa Tamaham Mande Shri Gurun Dinatarinam Shri Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanyamishwaram. Namo Vishnupada Krishna Prashtaputale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namo Vishnupada Krishna Prashtaputale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. My dear Dhruva, please therefore turn your attention to the Supreme Person who is the infallible Brahman. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position. And thus, by self-realization, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madan Mohan Ji ki Jai, Shri Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani ki Jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srila Gurudev ki Jai, Tagore Premanande Hari Hari. Hare Krishna Prabhu's Mataji, so nice to see you all. very beautiful morning, and more beautiful because we are absorbed in glorifying the Lord since morning 4:30. No. This Mangalarti is the life. Bhagavatam is our life, right? And chanting is our life. If we don't have this in our life, then we are dead. Prabhupada said anybody who is alive, they can stand in the Mangalarti and pray to the Lord. And anybody who has the ears to hear or the mouth to speak, they can engage in Krishna Katha, glorification of the Supreme Lord. Especially, we have Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam, which was tasted by Shukadeva Goswami. The Nigama Kalpataror Galitam Phalam Shukamukhad Amrita Drava Samyutam. Because it is being tasted by Shukamukha, by Shukadeva Goswami, it tastes even more sweeter. And we have the privilege which even someone like, say, Parikshit Maharaj or Suta Goswami, they all didn't have. What is the privilege that we have? It is even more sweeter because it is stated by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada and given to us by the transcendental swan devotee, who directly came from the Goloka Vrindavan to give us such a beautiful. See, imagine such a beautiful place we have, such beautiful deities we have. This is where we have, the life is there in our society. Where else you have this life? Once my spiritual master went to one of the temples, some impersonalist temples, and he said, this place is no better than a graveyard. In the class he said this. He had that audacity that courage to say that. He said, why this place is like a graveyard? Because 4 things are not there. 4 P, P, the letter P. First is prayers. Our Mangalarti comes under the prayers. Guru Puja, our Darshanarti, Sandhyarti. This is all there. Right from morning 4:30 to night 9 o'clock, we are busy praying to the Lord. So the prayers, not there. They just come, they have home board, and then they think that, they are worshipping the Lord, or they attained moksha, whatever. But in our society, in our movement, Krishna consciousness movement, the first thing is always there. On Janmashtami, which temple has the most crowd in all the whole world? Right? Everybody comes to our ISKCON temple for Janmashtami. They love the worship, they love the deities, and then comes the next P, that is prasadam. Who can give a more tasty prasadam than us? They come, many times I have seen people who come, once in a year they come, they say, when do you come? We come once in a year for Rath Yatra, for Janmashtami. Why don't you come every day? No, that's the only time we get easy prasadam, the most delicious prasadam that we get, but we are not able to come every day. But at least these days, the Lord is coming near our home, so we are able to get it. Sometimes they are very far away or invalid or whatever, right? So the second P is prasadam, P. Because it is offered to the Lord, it is all the more tastier, sweeter. And many times, you remember how the complaint was going around that we are mixing something in our prasadam, that as soon as the people taste the prasadam, they become devotees of Krishna. Have you seen that? It has been, this complaint has been there for quite a long time. And I remember when I was in Bangalore many years ago, one boy came from Calcutta to the temple, and for a few days he was with the devotees and doing service and taking prasadam, and he became a full-time brahmachari. So the parents filed a complaint in the court that these people are mixing something in the prasadam, and that became a big issue. And then we had to do a big harinam throughout the city. We took with a petition to the commissioner, and we went and told that all these false propaganda should be stopped. We are doing this service to the humanity, betterment of the humanity. And then it became a big advertisement for us. Our temple was just opened, and these people made a complaint, and it became an opportunity for us to glorify Krishna even more. We went with the Harinam Sankirtan party, We didn't go like shouting with the hi, jai, jai. And for us, everything is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So, first is prayers, second is prasadam, third is preaching. Nobody preaches like ours, isn't it? We preach to such an extent that sometimes people were worried, if they see us preaching, they will run away. So if they talk about Krishna, we will become devotees. So many times it so happens that the Harinam party goes on one road and another direction they run away. But they can't escape all the time because they run that way, then some devotee is standing there with Bhagavad Gita book. And now from day after tomorrow, already unofficially it is started, no? The book distribution marathon. So wherever they go, they will see our people with Bhagavad Gita. If they just can't escape. 3 times, 4 times they can say no, but ultimately they will feel embarrassed, and then they will get it. And slowly they will start reading it. It will take some time, but depends on what Krishna has for them. For our duty is to give them things. So preaching. Wherever we go, we talk about Krishna, Bhagavatam. There is no movement in this world which preaches the pure message without contamination, which as Prabhupada has given. There is nowhere it is happening. You all know that how many places early morning Bhagavatam class happens. You can give it in writing that except for our movement, our ISKCON society, maybe you can call out a few handful of other groups which do Bhagavatam in the morning, especially as a morning class, as a Bhagavatam class. Though that is a third P, that is preaching. We go out and do preaching so much, and it's only mainly because of the preaching. Our preaching is, the word preach is a very interesting word. It has reach in it. We have to reach the heart of the people by our preaching, and that Prabhupada is so expert in doing it. And that is why even today, whoever comes and becomes a devotee, they are able to extract, they are bestowed upon by the mercy of Prabhupada through the preaching by the various devotees. And the devotees also, by their purity, they give as much as possible. The more pure their transaction is, the more faster or rapid is the transformation. The transformation happens, right, in the heart of the devotee. So this is the third one, is preaching, P. And the fourth P is printing. Nobody prints books like us. Quick printing, right? Prabhupada, his name went into the Guinness Book of World Records for writing the maximum number of books. And then even now, so many new books are coming. All of them have its basis in Prabhupada's books. If not for Prabhupada's books, any other book that we write, they have no basis, isn't it? Prabhupada's books are our Shastras. Whatever we write are the offshoots, right? So we go to the roots of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, whatever books that Prabhupada had written, and just read one verse, one few lines from there, then the whole thing is clear. And what is the context? You all know, you are hearing regularly the various slokas from previous verses from this chapter. It's a very interesting chapter. Dhruva Maharaj, who within 6 months, he saw the Supreme Lord personally when he was 5 years old, isn't it? 5 or 10 years old. He was instigated by the insult thrown at him by Suruchi. Then by the advice of his mother Suniti, he went to the forest. And as he went to the forest, on the way, our Narad Muni met him, right? Narad Muni met him, and he gave him the ultimate knowledge and the ultimate mantra also. What is the mantra he gave? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And that is the verse we chant every day 3 times before starting Bhagavatam, right? So that mantra takes us immediately out of the bodily conception of life and keeps us at the lotus feet of Krishna. That is why before chanting Bhagavatam, the preliminary requirement of Bhagavatam is that somehow or other we should try to come out of the bodily conception. Otherwise, the full essence will not get inside our ears and go into the heart. That is why we chant this mantra 3 times before thing. So he gives that mantra, and then he gives the when Dhruva Maharaj refused to hear to the Brahmanical advice our Narad Muni gave, he gave the advice of doing the tapas, too hard service, and that also he did in such a great austerity he did, and he saw Krishna also within 6 months. No one else had that opportunity or the good fortune of seeing Krishna in just within 6 months. So he comes back, and he is glorified by his mother, by his father, and everybody, and stepmother also glorifies him. So that way he is even more famous. This is how, whenever we face any challenging situations in life, very trying situations in life, we should not be bothered. We should not be afflicted by it. We should not, what do you call that, as disturbed by it. Rather, if we just go through, pass through that, let that storm pass through, right? Then we will become even more glorious. Mountain, it is just standing there, right? A big storm comes. Mountain does not say, I will go 100 kilometers that side and avoid myself. It doesn't have any umbrella. While it can act like an umbrella, but it does not have any umbrella to cover itself from the storms and thunderbolts and all that, right? But what it does, it patiently goes through that entire process. And what happens as a result? Before the rain, whatever dirty things were there, it is all taken away by the gushing waters, and it appears so shining after the rains, isn't it? That is the beauty. Girayo varsha dharavir hanyavano na bibyaduhu abhibhuyamana vyasanair yatha adokshaja chetasaha. This is in the 10th canto. Our Lord Krishna tells, so nicely. Girayo varsha dharavir. Giri, the mountain is there. Varsha dharavir, just thunderbolts, it's just smashing. Hanyamana na bibyaduhu. It's not shaken. It is not shaken even an inch by that heavy thunderbolts. By that, what happens? Similarly, abhimuyamana vyasana. Vyasana means all the disturbing things in our heart also. Just like that mountain which does not get shaken by the thunderbolts. Those who are adokshaja chetasaha, those who are always keeping Krishna in their hearts, in the chitta, all the vyasanas, the disturbing things in their hearts, anxieties, worries, everything, they are just washed away by the same challenge that comes. So we have to just simply catch hold of Krishna's lotus feet tightly and let the storm pass through. You see, as long as we can catch hold of Krishna's lotus feet, we will not get swayed away. Any other shelter we go, we are finished. Right? So that is the most important thing we should understand. So Dhruva Maharaj was able to pass through all that thing. Now, after he became king, then he ruled so immaculately, so wonderfully, and the whole the region became famous because of Dhruva Maharaj by his impeccable rule. And as he grew older, his brother Uttama it was already foretold also that he will be killed by some yakshas when he goes into the forest for hunting. So he was killed. And when Dhruva Maharaj comes to know of it, you know the story that he goes to yakshas are what? Who? They are Kuvera's own sons, and they are like millions of them are there. Kuvera's sons. So he went to with the blowing the conch shell, declaring war, and then he went to on a fight. So these yakshas, they also have their dignity or ego, whatever. So they came fighting with because the challenge was there. They came fighting. Ideally speaking, if they had presented just that one yaksha who killed Uttama, the problem would have been solved. But what happened? Instead of presenting that person who killed Dhruva's brother, they all tried to cover him up, and as a result, they were killed like mosquitoes. Like Dhruva Maharaj was killing them in bunches. So it went to such an extent that they also landed into trickery things. They hid themselves and throwing all different things. But Dhruva Maharaj single-handedly, imagine, see, the entire Yaksha groups are coming in millions and millions. And Dhruva Maharaj's son, just a single one person. But because he's a devotee, they could not, he's a pure devotee, they could not touch him. Not even touch a hair on his body. But he was able to kill them in millions. But the challenge here is, this is where the tricky part comes. So, can we follow Dhruva Maharaj here or not? That's the biggest challenging question that comes, isn't it? So, now this, we also faced a challenge, like in Bangladesh, something happened and some miscreants came and destroyed our temple and some of our devotees were harmed, killed, whatever. So what do we do here? Similar situation, isn't it? So what lesson do we take from Dhruva Maharaj? Right? On the one hand, you have to protect. On the other hand, you have to restrain. This is the question I told you. These questions come in when we are reading scrutinizingly Bhagavatam. These questions come. And answers are also available through the instructions of Swayambhu Manu. Swayambhu Manu gives very nice instructions. Because one of the primary instructions, and not primary, the only instruction of Srimad Bhagavatam is very nicely revealed in this verse. What is that? Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead in your original position. Face the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You face the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Means you also look at Krishna, Krishna is also looking at you. Krishna is looking at us all the time. His glance is there all the time. You see, Jagannath's eyes are so big. Whichever part of the world you go, he will still be able to. He doesn't have eyebrows also. He doesn't blink also. For that fraction of a second, he doesn't close. And Krishna's glances are always sidelong glances. When we are standing in front of Krishna, we have no option but to see Krishna. But when we are somewhere around on the sides, Krishna still sees us by his sidelong glance, but we don't see him. What we are doing, we'll be talking some chit chat or some gossip or something we will be doing, but that also Krishna sees. So Krishna's glance is there on us all the time. Not that only when you go in front of the Lord. But when we go in front of the Lord, we face the Lord. And when we face the Lord, we, at least for that kshana, we realize our original position. This original position is what? Prabhu's Mantra. What is that original position that Swayambhu Manu is talking about here? What is the original position? Can somebody answer? What is the original position that only when we get into that original position, Swayambhu Manu says, you will find this material differentiation to be merely flickering. Material differentiation to be merely flickering, will come to that part next. But first, what is this original position that Swayambhu Manu is talking about? We are all part and parcel of the souls. We are all. When we say this word, we are all, what does that mean, Prabhu? Everybody is part and parcel. But when we say that in our mind, we don't think about anyone else other than ourselves as part and parcel. Isn't that true? How many of us, how many other people other than us, we think that, hey, he is also part and parcel. If I think that way, I will not have any problem with that person? Mamai Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatanaha. Right? All Jiva Bhutas, they are all my part and parcel. Even those who killed, they are also part and parcel. Even those who are getting killed, they are also part and parcel. So how do we understand, how do we appreciate the fact that these people are also part and parcel? That's the biggest challenge we have, isn't it? And the reason we are having that challenge is because we haven't come out of the material contaminated consciousness. We are still in the Rajas and Tamas mode. That is why we are not able to go higher, beyond the modes. When we go beyond the modes, we will be able to see Krishna in everyone. I am not saying that you go and fall at his feet, or not like that. I mean, in a tiger, you will see, Prabhupada says that nicely, no? You have to see Krishna in the heart of a tiger also. But does it mean that you can go and hug the tiger? Prabhupada says, if you go and hug the tiger, it will hug you and never leave you out. That will be your last day of hugging, right? So, what are you supposed to do? Give prasadam and treat it that way, right? So, Krishna is present in different ways in different places. Krishna is present in the form of this book Bhagavatam, right? We see this as Krishna, but that does not mean that we keep it in the shelf and only do arati. Somebody will say, I will keep Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam in the shelf and do only arati, pay obeisance and come out. Why, Prabhu, why are you doing like this? No, I see this as non-different from Krishna, Yes, you are supposed to do that with the Archa Vigraha, not at the Shabda Brahman, our Shabda Rupi Bhagwan. Right? So, Krishna present in different forms, expect us to treat him in the way it is to be treated. You cannot play around with the deity, left, right and center, put him on the lap or keep inside the thing and all that, You have to treat him with that consciousness in which you will treat. That's why we do arati to the lordships, pay obeisance, glorify. He is Archa Murti, Archa Vigraha. But here he is Mantra Murti in Bhagavatam. So you can carry him in the train, you can keep him on the lap, you can read in the train, flight, everywhere you can do. But for the Lord, you have to offer bhoga on time. You have to put him to sleep. The Lord, you have to put him to sleep. But here, very soon, if you are with Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam puts us into sleep. Isn't that true? We go into sleep, yoga nidra, when we hear Bhagavatam. Right? That is also not wrong. As long as you are in yoga nidra, nothing is wrong. Bhagavatam itself says that sleeping in Bhagavatam is actually a good symptom of hearing Bhagavatam. Now everybody is looking at, where is that verse, Prabhu? I want to quote that. What is that? Yasyam vai shruya manayam Krishne parama purushe bhaktir utpadyate pumsaha shoka moha bhayapaha. This is the shloka which you can quote when somebody says, Prabhu, don't sleep in Bhagavatam. You say, Prabhu, I am following this shloka. What does that say? Yasyam vai shruya manayam. When you hear Krishna Katha, the pure Krishna Katha that is there in Bhagavatam, Krishna parama purushe, about Krishna, who is the param purush, bhaktir utpadyate pumsaha. In our heart, bhakti sprouts. Utpadya. Utpatti means sprouts. When the bhakti sprouts, what happens? Shoka moha bhaya apaha. Shoka is lamentation, moha is illusion, and bhaya is fear. These are the three things that doesn't let us sleep at all. Isn't it? Out of fear, I don't sleep. If I am really worried about something, I don't sleep. And if I am in illusion, I don't sleep. But when you hear Bhagavatam, all these three are completely destroyed. So when it is destroyed, what happens next? Sleep. That's why I am telling you, this sleeping in Bhagavatam is a transcendental sleep. You know why? Normally, if you go in the train and bus and you have to sleep, you have to go behind and you need that seat backside to lie down, and or you will go towards the window side and you will sleep, right? But I have ever seen in Bhagavatam everybody falling asleep behind and falling flat. There in that yoga nidra pose, they are sleeping, isn't it? They don't find a pillar lies right side or left side to support, isn't it? So this sleep is given by Krishna. Once I told this in one of the classes, one devotee said, Prabhu, you really, what is that they say? That pouring milk in your heart, he said, no? You gave so much encouragement by this thing that I was always feeling guilty of sleeping in Bhagavatam class. But you told so much, you gave so much encouragement. Now I will not sleep with guilt. I will sleep peacefully. No, but the beauty here is Bhagavatam means cheerfulness, Prabhu's Mataji's. This is the most important thing. Why Swayambhu Manu is telling him to face Krishna? Because when we face Krishna, the first thing that we see, what do we see? There's the first thing in Krishna. What do we know? Overall, if you see, what is it that immediately attracts us? Smile. The Lord's smile is what immediately comes to our eyes, isn't it? Our dhyan, that's what comes. Right? Krishna is always smiling. That is the beauty of Krishna. See, first thing, original position. See, this one word, original position, has so much depth in it that it will take a day to even understand what it means. See, first thing you said, we are the eternal servants of the Lord. That is the first thing about the original position. What is the second thing about the original position? We see all others are also as Krishna's part and parcel. Everybody, Sarva Bhutatma. All Bhutas are Krishna's part and parcel. Only if Dhruva Maharaj could see Yakshas as Krishna's part and parcel, he will stop fighting. When we are also having some problems with somebody, some misunderstanding, some upset with somebody or something, unless and until we see Krishna in that person, we will not give up that contaminated consciousness about that person. Right? That is the first and foremost thing. Second thing that we have to see is that we have to also, what is the other original position? Original position in the sense, our current original position. What is it? That they are all Atmas, but they are suffering because of their misidentification with the body. Helplessly they are suffering because of their misidentification with the body. You go and talk to somebody, he is so much conscious that I am this body. You tell him something that agitates him, he will not forgive you at all. Right? So everything pertaining to the body, you see, somebody is coming from, say, UK. Right? You tell him that, hey, you British people are like this. Then he will start suddenly getting agitated. His body is not British, but he is thinking that he is a British. And you are hurting his sentiments of British. Then the whole thing stops. Actually, what you said is also false. What he thinks is also false. Neither is he British, nor whatever we are saying is pertaining to the soul. But he is so much absorbed in that consciousness. Same thing goes for any countryman, any community, whatever. Right? But the problem here is, they are all helplessly affected by the modes. They are caught up by the three modes. And unless and until we see this, that Atmadrik, no, that is a word that is used here, Atmadrik. You see the Atma, and you see that there is another covering, right? See, somebody is lying down with a disease in the hospital. Do we go and tell him that, you did all karmas, that is why you are suffering? We tell him that we pray for you, we give some prasadam, garland, something we give, right? Why? Because we are not identifying that disease with that person. Whatever he might have done, we say that that disease should not have come to that person. Similarly, this body is also a disease. We don't understand that. This body, each one of us have this shariram vyadi mandiram. This sharira is a vyadi mandir, it's a temple of disease. Sharira itself. The fact that we have got this body itself is a disease. The word disease is very interesting. Dis-ease. We are not at ease, isn't it? If I make you sit for 3 hours, how uneasy you will feel. If you make me sit here also for 2-3 hours, I will feel uneasy. Why? Because we are in the body. Correct? So, the point here is, they are helplessly harming us. So, we have to see with compassion. That is the most important word, anukampaya, kripam. See with compassion. When you see them with compassion, that, hey, this is a pure Atma, but he is being affected. Like Prabhupada, how he is praying in that Markine Bhagavad Dharma. Boro Kripa Kaila Krishna. In that you see, they are all pure souls, but they are all affected by the three modes and they are identifying themselves with the body. How will I get them out of it? Only you can get them out of this material consciousness. So to see this reality, we need compassion. Without compassion, we cannot see the original position of the other living entities. That is what Swayambhu Manu is telling to Dhruva Maharaj. You are compassionate to your brother. He is killed. But you are not looking at this, how they are embodied. Helplessly they are thinking this way. So how you anukampaya kripam, you do compassionately, you offer them this thing. Then your loving mercy, then everything will stop. And this is how we also, because we are lovingly dealing with everybody, as long as we are lovingly dealing with everybody, nobody will harm us. Somewhere occasionally something will happen here and there because this is Kali Yuga. But if we go around shooting everybody, telling that, hey, your people have killed me, all of them, we cannot identify everybody that way. Somebody has done it. So we don't want to, there is a nice story in Mahabharata, but there is no time for us to do that. But that's a beautiful story to meditate on. Now, this particular thing, the reason why we are disturbed or we are disturbing others is because of this one word called Pritak Drisha. We are seeing them separate from Krishna. Pritak means separate. Alag, separate. We are separate from Krishna. We are seeing them as separate entities from Krishna. We are not seeing them as part and parcel of Krishna. In this regard, there is a very beautiful verse. I don't know if you have but we will try to read that. It's a very important verse that connects very well with this situation. 4:6:48. When Brahma disturbs the Daksha's thing and he kills Daksha and all that. Sorry, Shiva. When Shiva disturbs all that, Brahma comes with a whole lot of demigods to satisfy Lord Shiva by prayers. In that, there is a beautiful, beautiful prayer that Brahma is speaking to Lord Shiva so that he can forgive Daksha. Yasmin yada pushkarana bhamayaya durantaya sprishtadiya pridagdrishaha. The same pridagdrisha word is used there also. Kurvanti tatra hyanukampaya kripam na sadavo daiva balat krite kramam. I'll read this translation, such a beautiful translation. My dear Lord, if in some places materialists who are already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead, already bewildered by the insurmountable illusory energy of the Supreme Godhead, sometimes commit offenses, a saintly person with compassion does not take them seriously. Takes this seriously. Knowing that they commit offenses because they are overpowered by the illusory energy, he does not show his prowess to counteract them. So a devotee's important duty is to realize that people are committing whatever they are by being bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord. Why they are bewildered by the illusory energy of the Lord? Because they are khandita. They are cut off from Krishna. Even Vidura is telling the same thing. Janasya Krishna vimukasya daivat. They have turned their faces away from Krishna. So how much ever you tell them, they will not understand because they are in the bodily consciousness. So that is why in this Swayambhu Manu is telling you, face towards Krishna in your original position. You see? Such a beautiful verse. This purport and verse and every single word of 4:6:48 is so beautiful and amazing. Excuse me. So this point we have to understand very clearly. And then we try to help them turn their face towards Krishna. Then you don't have to be there also. Krishna will take care of them. That's why Prabhupada said, you just give my books to them, give them prasadam, invite them to the temple. My books, I and deities will take care of them. You forget about them and you go and find someone else. This is all we have to do. Hours and hours of preaching also, if needed, we can do. But this is all we have to do. Just give them books, give them prasadam, give them the temple address, tell them every Sunday feast is there, you please come. Now let them look at the deities, their lordships, Sri Radha Madan Mohanji, Gaur Nitaiji and Jagannath Baladev Subhadraji. They will take care of them. How do you think we all came? We all came by this only. So this Face the Supreme Lord in your original position is a very, very important point. Now we are all hearing. This is also facing the Supreme Lord. Because when we are facing the Supreme Lord, we eagerly hear. Shushrushamanana. Huh? This is an important point. And this facing the Supreme Lord gives so much power to our in our life. So much courage and energy in our life. I will just tell you one particular shloka, and with that we will come to the end because it's also time. This shloka comes in 1:11:8. This is spoken by the Dwarka Vasis to Krishna, and Krishna enters Dwarka. This shows the importance of what do you mean by facing the Supreme Lord and meditate on Him. This please repeat after. I think it's very important. You can always chant this shloka whenever you take darshan of the Lord. Aho Sanata. You can take the verse if you have your smartphones. 1:11:8 is the verse number. Aho Sanata Bhavata Smayadvayam Traivishtapanam Api Dura Darshanam Premasmita Snigdha Nirikshananam Pashyema Rupam Tava Sarva Saubhagam Pashyema Rupam Tava Sarva Saubhagam. Beautiful verse, Aho Sanata. Aho Sanata. Oh, how great fortune it is that we have now again became Sanatas. There is two words, Sanata and Anata. Anata means we have given up the shelter of the Lord. Sanata means we have come back again to the shelter of the Lord. Aho Sanata Bhavata Smayadvayam. We have all again now come under your shelter because we have been feeling so much separation. You went away for so long from Dwarka. Now that after this Hastinapur things are all over, you have come back. And when you come, we are so happy to see you. So elated to see you. Traivishtapanam. Now we understand the importance of your darshan. We are thinking that, morning when we go, the Lord will be there to give us darshan. But that's not so easy. Traivishtapanam means those devatas. 33 crore demigods are there, no? Api Dura Darshanam. For them also Krishna doesn't give darshan so easily. If you see throughout Bhagavatam, Krishna hardly gives his darshan to the demigods. Whenever they go pray for some danger they are in, first they go and complain to Brahma. Brahma takes them all to Kshirosagar ocean. And there he offers prayers to the Lord. Lord conveys the message in his heart. And after that Brahma comes and conveys, this is what Lord wants you to do. So even for demigods it is not so easy to see, but we are able to see you so nicely. And how he is giving this darshan to us when we are really in devotional service. Prema Smita Snigdha Nirikshana Ananam. Prema Smita Snigdha means loving smiling glance. Smiling glance full of love. Krishna is not smiling out of sarcasm or smiling out of anger. Sometimes out of anger also we smile. But Krishna is always smiling out of love. Loving glance and loving smile. And Prema Smita Snigdha, very soft hearted. No unnecessary duplicity, nothing. Very simple and straightforward. And Nirikshan Ananam, his face is looking at us like that. Right? Prema Smita Snigdha Nirikshan Ananam Pashyema Rupam. Let me gaze at the Lord. Not just see the Lord. See is not the right word. Gaze at the Lord. Gaze means you don't feel like leaving that form of the Lord. Right? In Vrindavan you will see people will be like literally pushing each other to just have that small glance. Here also when big festivals are there, people will be really squeezing to get the darshan of the Lord, isn't it? So that is how it is. Pashyema Rupam Tava Sarva Saubhagam. Your Rupam that gives all the Saubhagya that we want. All the great fortunes that we want. What else you want? This Rupam. What is that Rupam? prema smita snigdha nirikshana ananam. See, that is why, see, this smile is the best way to build a relationship. See, when we are saying that, hey, you need to have that compassion towards all the living entities, you may be compassionate, but how will you express to them that, hey, I feel you are suffering? We have to spend some time with them. We have to build the relationship, correct? Without building a relationship, how can you build share their sufferings or make them friends with you? And how is the best way to build relationships? By your smile. And that is why Krishna has relationships with everybody, because he's always smiling. We also, one thing that one of the devotees said, one devotees went to a doctor. Hardly devotees go to doctor, but in US one devotee went to a doctor. And that doctor is very famous for treating all the ISKCON devotees. He's a very sattvic person. He said, one problem with you people I have seen is that you people are not smiling enough. If at all you want to do one thing, you please smile enough. What you are lacking? You have morning Bhagavatam, nice katha to hear. After that you have such delicious, tasty prasadam. Nowhere else they have so much ghee. We have all the ghee in the world. Because our Lord is a thief of butter, So we can have as much ghee as we want. Nobody falls ill because of taking that ghee. Because it's offered to Krishna. What do we lack? We have nice devotee association. So that smile is the most important thing. It's the best way to build a relationship with anybody. Whoever comes, first smile at them. Then ask them who you are. That is a nice thing we have. So this prema smita snigdha nirikshana ananam. Krishna is always smiling with loving glance. When we go and stand in front of the Lord, this is how Krishna is actually smiling. And that is why Dwarkavasis were able to build a relationship with him. And that is why they were able to understand their original position. And that is why they were also able to understand the original position of everyone else. And because of that, they were able to build a relationship with everyone else. Right? This is the success mantra that Prabhupada built. How Prabhupada was able to build that relationship with everyone. You remember that Sally Agarwal? How she gives that in her interview? She says he had an oceanic smile. And they were not devotees then. They had all meat and egg and fish and everything in the thing. But he was still seeing them as Krishna's part and parcel. And he was so loving with them. That is the success mantra that Prabhupada taught us. Okay, so much more to say, but time is of the essence. We'll stop here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Gurudev ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Thai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Panchakalpatar Dusya Kripa Sindhu Bhavacha Patitanam Pavanam Vaishnavyo Namo. Hare Krishna Prabhu. We'll stop here. Any questions? We can discuss later. Have any questions? No questions, right? Yes, Prabhu. I think Prabhu seems to have a question. Sorry. Should we?
In the purport to this sloka, Srila Prabhupada says there are three types of visions according to our degree of self-realization. So what I understood is that, first of all, those who are not self-realized, they see everybody different. He is my friend, he is my enemy, because they consider only the body. So they are body conscious. That is one type of vision. The other type of vision, also described in the purport, is that those who are devotees of the Lord, they see everyone as part and parcel of Lord Krishna. So for them, there is no difference between one person and another. Everybody is related to the Lord in this way. Now, I was thinking, what is the third type of vision? That is my question.
Three types of vision. So the first, first line Prabhupada says that. No? So that 1 minute, Prabhu. I'll just take that line. I remember I wanted to explain on that point. It's a nice line where Prabhupada says, the living entities have three kinds of vision according to their positions in self-realization. Prabhu, this I see it as the three different kinds of devotees, neophyte devotees, the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Uttam Adhikari. Kanishta Adhikari sees only in deity they see the Lord, and then rest everyone they don't see. But the Madhyam Adhikari, they see, according to the conditions of the living entities, they see little bit of differentiation. But Uttam Adhikari, they see everybody as part and parcel. That's what you said, Prabhu. So what Swayambhu Manu wants Dhruva Maharaj to do is to rise to that platform of Uttamadhikari Drishti and see even Yakshas are part and parcel of Krishna and stop killing everybody unnecessarily. Those who not even committed that offense. So that's how I saw that. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for catching that line. There is this line, if it can be understood in a different way, by self-realization, it means it can also be like that Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan. That is also the three levels of seeing, but that doesn't apply here. Here, it are this three types of devotees. Another, yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Seems like there is some more question. I'm not able to. Sorry, there is some echo, Prabhu, here. Maybe you can come closer also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. It is said that if you go to Golok Vrindavan, there's no chance that you can come back to materialistic world again. So, Dhruva Maharaj was purified by Krishna in his early age. Why did he fall prey to Maya again? Why did he attack?
Actually, he did not fall prey to Maya, Prabhu. If you see this particular chapter, that's why I said it's a bit tricky. You have to read all the purports of Prabhupada in this chapter to get a holistic idea of what happened really. See, the thing is, Uttama was innocently killed by one Yaksha. And as the king, Dhruva Maharaj has the duty to punish the miscreants who killed even one citizen in his kingdom. Got it? So he went to the Yaksha planet to find out that one person. But instead of offering that one Yaksha to surrender to Dhruva Maharaj, all of them started fighting. And Dhruva Maharaj is alone. As a Kshatriya, he cannot turn his back and say, okay, I will just take a very peaceful position. That will set a very bad example for the Rajas, for the kings. Even now, that's what happens if you fight between two countries here, right? They don't come back turning their back to their face. Like they don't do that. Whether it is happening in two countries, India, China, India, Pakistan, whatever, right? If they avenge their defeat, whatever, right? That's a normal thing that Kshatriyas are supposed to do. Otherwise, all the citizens will be in fear that I don't have a capable king. What will I do? So they will be always living in fear. The duty of a Kshatriya is to give protection and the courage or the will, the strength for them to feel that yes, I am in a safe place. Now, see, suppose it's full of thieves here and the police station is empty. Do you think we will have a peaceful place sitting here and hearing Bhagavatam? Anybody will come and loot things here. There is a lot of things here. Anybody will come and steal away, right? So why people are feeling this place is safe? Because they are afraid of this police station, which is or the court and all, which is functioning, right? So Dhruva Maharaj did that right thing, and as a devotee, he was supposed to do it even more to protect her, like how Parikshit Maharaj also did. But the thing that Swayambhu Manu was trying to advise him is that as he went on killing the Yakshas, they were also not surrendering, he is also not surrendering, he is also not stopping. So there is no end to it. So Swayambhu Manu at some point says that, see, one Yaksha killed your brother. And you are now, whoever has been killed, they were not even involved in that whole thing. Some of them are very innocent Yakshas, they are also you are killing. And second thing that after all these things that what he wanted to do is that, see now, if you set this as an example that, oh, one person killed my brother, I will kill that entire dynasty. That will also set a bad example. So that is why Swayambhu Manu, Dhruva Maharaj was not in Maya or anything. He was perfectly alright. But he was doing his duty. But what could he do? See, this is Prabhu. This is the thing we have to understand, that material situations are so complicated that you may be thinking that you are doing something, but it will end up in totally something else. He wanted to only catch that one Yaksha. But see how that material entanglement went so much deeper that he could not stop the fight. They were all kind of doing into different sorceries and everything, magic and everything, and then they were trying to kill Dhruva Maharaj, and he can't also get back. But you see, when Dhruva Maharaj is being completely surrounded by this arrows or this thing by the Yakshas, the sages come and pray for Dhruva Maharaj. They say that chant the holy names. At that point, they say chant the holy names. That will dissipate all these magic things that these Yakshas are giving. Okay, so he did that and then he started fighting even more vigorously. That's what happened. But now, the thing is, Yaksha's father, Kuvera, is also a devotee. He is also a Devata. Now, you have to see the overall holistic picture also, isn't it? That is why Swayambhu Manu comes and gives this advice that you stop here, Kuvera might get this thing, and the more important thing we all have to understand in our day-to-day thing is that, Prabhu, this anger, this chapter gives a very, very important thing about anger. Indefatigable anger. It grows so much more that you cannot, it will destroy the person who has that anger completely, and then only it will go. So, at some point he used Dhruva Maharaj to give us the instruction. It's not that Dhruva Maharaj was at fault and he was given that instruction, no. Many times the devotees, like Brahma also is given advice, Narada Muni is given advice, Parikshit Maharaj is given advice, Yudhishthira Maharaj is given advice, everybody is given advice. But you know what? A beautiful line Prabhupada writes in his purport in 1931 or something, 31 or 32 or somewhere in that area, in the 9th chapter. The mother-in-law teaches the daughter-in-law by teaching the daughter. This is a beautiful line that Prabhupada writes. Krishna wants to give that instruction to the whole world, that you see everybody as part and parcel of Krishna. But he can't directly, if he is directly, nobody will listen. So through devotees, he takes the devotees as the examples and then through them he is teaching this message. That is why devotees are like the daughter of the mother. But others are like the daughter-in-laws. They have a more formal relationship. Daughter has a more informal relationship. They will not feel bad when advice is given. You see? That is why through them Krishna is. I hope that clears your doubt, Prabhu. Thank you. I would request you to go through this chapter fully and, especially read Prabhupada's purports meticulously, Prabhu. Thank you. Very nice question. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. I'll stop here.